After my husband passed away, he left his entire estate to his one true love. That's when I discovered they even had an 18-year-old child together. Meanwhile, I was dying of cancer on the street, penniless and unable to afford treatment. A consequence of being his human guinea pig for experimental drugs for the past 18 years. When I opened my eyes again, I had gone back to the moment he had just agreed to marry me. A cold voice came through the phone, Song Shui. I've agreed to my parents' demand to marry you. The wedding is in 3 days. Are you happy now? The memory of my past life, tormented by cancer and dying a wretched death on the street, was still vivid in my mind. I quickly changed my tune. No, you don't have to marry me. Let's call off the engagement. There was a stunned silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds, followed by a cold snort. Song Shui, playing hard to get gets old after a while. Everyone knows your lifelong dream has always been to marry me. I tried to explain. This time, I mean it. Lu Jingchuan cut me off impatiently. Enough, just sell your parents' old apartment and wire me the money. I need it to fund the development of a new drug. Before I could say another word, the line went dead. 18 years worth of heartache and pain from my past life came flooding back all at once. I clutched my chest, gasping for air. I used to believe our love was mutual. But I later discovered he was only with me for the inheritance money from my parents, which he could use for his experiments. Lu Jingchuan thought I was using money to force him into marriage, so he refused to leave me a single penny after his death, leaving me to die without anyone to claim my body. Since I've been given a second chance at life, I won't make the same mistakes again. I drove back to the Lu family home and told Uncle and Aunt Lu that I wanted to call off the engagement. Aunt Lu, who watched me grow up, felt a bit regretful. Wei, did that rascal Jingchuan do something to upset you? Auntie will give him a piece of my mind for you. I shook my head. Lu Jingchuan already has someone in his heart. I don't want to waste the rest of my life in a marriage with him. As for the wedding, just change it to his and Juyi's. Consider it a surprise for him. Seeing my resolve, Aunt Lu stopped trying to persuade me. She took my hand and said with concern, then from now on, you can be like a sister to Jingchuan, live with us, so I can take good care of you. That won't be necessary, Aunt Lu. I have my own path to follow. Just moments ago, I had already applied to join my professor's pharmaceutical research institute, with the experience from my past life and sufficient funding. I'm confident I can achieve even more than Lu Jingchuan. Right after I finished talking with Aunt Lu and stepped outside, I got a message from Lu Jingchuan, Riverview Pavilion, room 303. It was the private room our crowd always booked for get-togethers. I scrolled through our chat history. It was almost always me sending dozens, even hundreds of messages, only for him to reply with a few perfunctory lines. Knowing I'd be leaving soon, I didn't refuse. I saw it as a chance to say goodbye to my friends. When I arrived at the private room, everyone was already there. They had all tacitly agreed to leave the seat next to Lu Jingchuan for me. Sis, why are you so late? You kept everyone waiting for ages. Juyi pouted and nestled into Lu Jingchuan's arms. Whining softly, they had performed this intimate act in front of me, his fiancée, countless times before. I glanced at the leftover bones on her plate and sneered, looks like you've had your fill. Juyi's face flushed crimson instantly, as if she'd been grievously wronged, and tears began to patter down her cheeks. Seeing this, Lu Jingchuan shot me an impatient glare. Song Shui, watch your tone. E's just a kid, of course she couldn't wait and had to eat first. Seems like your age is catching up with your temper. Juyi is only 2 years younger than me, yet in his eyes, she's just a kid. I remember the first time I met her, Lu Jingchuan said the same thing. Juyi is a student sponsored by Lu Jingchuan. She has poor grades and lacks motivation, yet he still transfers her 20,000 yuan every month, and here I am, his actual girlfriend. And I've never even received a single bouquet of flowers. Whatever I had, Juyi would have too, and hers was always better. I was often jealous because of her, but Lu Jingchuan would scold me for being petty. E's just a kid, why are you making a big deal out of it, since I'm her sponsor? Of course I'm going to give her the best. In my past life, after his constant brainwashing, I even started to doubt whether I was being too narrow-minded. But looking back now, that was no sponsorship. It was clearly him keeping her. To lighten the mood, a friend stood up to pour drinks for everyone. When it was Juyi's turn, Lu Jingchuan quickly reached out to cover her glass. Can't drink. My friend was taken aback for a moment, then said with a laugh, "Come on, Jingchuan. You're being way too overprotective of your kid. It's just one drink, and it's very low proof." Ju stuck out her tongue playfully. "Big brother says kids aren't allowed to drink." Something felt off to me. I picked up a crab and put it in her bowl. "Isn't seafood your favorite?" Lu Jingchuan impatiently pushed the crab away and snapped at me. Can't eat seafood." Ju, who normally loved seafood more than anything, wouldn't touch a single bite now. My gaze fell on the slight swell of her abdomen, and a cold dread settled in my heart. So, Ju was already pregnant at this point. No wonder Lu Jingchuan, who had refused my countless marriage proposals in my past life, suddenly changed his mind. He was afraid that once Ju's pregnancy became obvious, I would catch on and he wouldn't get his hands on the inheritance my parents left me. My grip on the wine glass tightened. So, every single day of my marriage had been lived in betrayal. I remembered when Lu Jingchuan and I were just starting our business. I was pregnant then, but for the sake of a business dinner. He forced me to drink 10 bottles of high-proof liquor, causing me to miscarry on the spot. On the way to the hospital, he was still blaming me. "It's all your fault. Couldn't you even hold in the blood from a miscarriage? You've embarrassed me." So he did know how to care for a pregnant woman. He just didn't care for me. I sighed and downed the drink in my hand, as if toasting the foolishness of my past. The meal was as tasteless as chewing wax. Ju let out a burp, clutched her stomach, and whined, "Brother Jingchuan, my stomach's a bit upset. Didn't you just develop a new capsule?" Lu Jingchuan pinched her nose. "You little glutton, you can't just take medicine willy-nilly." I shot him a glance, so he knew you shouldn't take medicine recklessly. But after we got married, he treated me like a lab rat. Whenever he had a new drug, he'd make me test it and have me document every physical reaction. As a result, my body is riddled with illnesses. The side effects leave me with daily headaches and stomach pains, barely able to move. After dinner, they insisted on playing Truth or Dare. The beer bottle spun and landed squarely pointing at Ju. Ju chose Dare. Her friends immediately started egging her on. "Isn't Valentine's Day in a few days? Dare to go big. Pick someone here and go get a marriage license." "Whoa, that's way too intense." "No way, pick something else." Ju, her face flushed, looked at Lu Jingchuan and asked softly, "Jingchuan, is that okay?" Lu Jingchuan instinctively glanced at me, and I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Ju clasped her hands together, pleading as she looked at me. "Please, Sister Shui, it's just getting a marriage certificate. We can always get a divorce later. I just don't want people saying I can't handle the game," I said earnestly. "Why ask me? If you want to claim it, just claim it. What's it got to do with me?" With that, I stood up to leave. Lu Jingchuan grabbed my wrist and said in a low, sharp tone, "Song Shui." His slightly furrowed brow hinted at his displeasure. I raised an eyebrow and shook off his hand. "I have other matters to attend to. You all enjoy yourselves." Not long after I left, I came across Jui's social media post. She shared a photo of her marriage certificate, stamped with her and Lu Jingchuan's portraits, officially on the job with my license. P.S. The diamond ring was a gift from my hubby. He took me to pick out this 5.2-carat beauty tilde. In the comments, she was getting sentimental. I always envied others for having a complete family when I was little. So glad I have mine now, all thanks to love. I couldn't help but leave a comment. "Wishing you a lifetime of happiness. You two are stuck together for good now." I didn't read what came next. I rushed home and started packing my things. This is the old house my parents left me. A developer had their eye on the land and offered 10 million to buy it, which is why Lu Jingchuan is so fixated on it. After packing, I collapsed into bed. The next morning, I woke up, called a moving company to haul away these dozen or so boxes, and that's when Lu Jingchuan showed up. His face was dark with anger as he grabbed my wrist tightly. "Why haven't you replied to my messages? Why aren't you answering my calls?" Not long after I left the comment, Lu Jingchuan sent me a message, explaining that the WeChat moment was fake. But honestly, I couldn't care less. I brushed him off casually. Packing wore me out. I just fell asleep. Only then did Lu Jingchuan notice the piles of boxes in the living room. He let out a sigh of relief, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Song Shui, Are you that eager to move into my place? I frowned, about to deny it, but he scoffed, what a hypocrite. Yesterday you said you wouldn't marry me, and today you've already packed all your things. I let out a bitter laugh, my tone sharp. Didn't you already get the marriage certificate with Jui? Are you jealous? Lu Jingchuan, for once, offered an explanation. It was just a joke. At worst, I'll take her to get a divorce in a couple of days. Looking at him like this, I felt sick to my stomach. Don't you hear how ridiculous that sounds? The wedding is in a few days, and a divorce takes at least 30. Lu Jingchuan's patience ran out, his face darkening. Song Shui, who do you think you're giving that attitude to? It's just a piece of paper, an empty shell. Titles don't matter. Everyone knows we're a couple after all this time. I can't believe Lu Jingchuan had the nerve to say something so shameless. Seeing my expression darken, Lu Jingchuan fished a bracelet from his pocket and tossed it at my face, as if bestowing some great favor. Here, it's for you. Go ahead and wear it. It was a plastic bracelet. The cheapness of it was overwhelming. The fake diamonds were practically flaking off. I couldn't help but sneer. For Jui, he buys a 5.2-carat diamond ring. But for me, it's just this piece of junk. I tossed the bracelet back to him. Isn't Jui's name engraved on this? Why are you giving it to me? I'm not a junk collector. Lu Jingchuan flared up instantly, carefully putting the bracelet away. Are you out of your mind? Song Shui, made this for you by hand. As an apology, she made it for me, but carved her own name on it. Lu Jingchuan was stumped for a moment, then snapped irritably. The thought is what counts, isn't it? She's just a kid. Why are you being so petty with her? Is Jui still a child? She's literally carrying one in her belly. I took a deep breath, ready to lay it all out for him, but his phone started ringing incessantly. Jui's custom ringtone, even without speakerphone. That sickly sweet, affected voice still reached my ears. Big brother, the baby is kicking me. I'm so scared. Lu Jingchuan shot me a nervous glance, seeing I had no reaction. He turned and fled the room without a second look. Soon after, Jui updated her social media again with a prenatal checkup report. Even I, as clueless as I was, knew that post was visible to me alone. I ignored it, but then she sent me a message. Song Shui, stop pretending. You saw my post, didn't you? I'm pregnant with Jingchuan's baby. If you have any shred of dignity left, you'll get lost on your own. I'll keep it brief. Well, I wish you both happiness. I have no idea which nerve I struck in Jui, but she completely lost it. Your passive-aggressive act is useless. Don't think your daily game of playing hard to get and pretending not to care will make Jingchuan like you. In his eyes, you're just a stray dog that won't go away. I'm the one he loves. She's acting like a lunatic. Couldn't be bothered with her, so I gave her the full delete and block treatment. After tidying up the house, I drove to the bridal shop. My mother designed a wedding dress for me before she passed away, hoping to wear it on my wedding day. I had it sent to a bridal shop for alterations well in advance. Even though I no longer plan to get married, I still want to take the dress my mother left for me. But when I asked the shop owner for the dress, she told me that gown was just picked up by someone else. Alarm bells went off in my head. I immediately called Lu Jingchuan. It took over a dozen tries before he answered, and the background noise on his end of the line was chaotic. Lu Jingchuan, did you take my mother's wedding dress? Lu Jingchuan stammered, what wedding dress? I don't know what you're talking about. I tried to ask again, but he hung up the phone. Following the location, I rushed to an outdoor garden. Jui was sitting on Lu Jingchuan's shoulders, wearing my wedding dress for a photo. The once pristine and exquisite wedding dress was now soiled with mud and torn in several places. Seeing me arrive, Lu Jingchuan quickly lifted Jui down and shielded her in his arms. Furious, I rushed over to tear the dress off her, but Lu Jingchuan shoved me back hard. Have you lost your mind? And I are just going through the motions for show. It's not a real wedding. What's all the fuss about? The kid has a dream of wearing a wedding dress. Can't you, as her future sister-in-law, just indulge her this once? My face flushed crimson with anger. Do whatever you want. But who gave you permission to touch the things my mother left for me? A flicker of guilt passed over Lu Jingchuan's face, but he still shielded Jui behind him. I took the kid to pick out a bridesmaid dress today, and she took a liking to your wedding gown. I just thought we could let her try it on for fun. Sort of like a fitting for you in advance. Why are you getting so worked up, Song Shui? If you're going to keep nitpicking like this, I'll have to reconsider the whole marriage. Lu Jingchuan's eyes were filled with smug certainty. He thought threatening me with marriage would force me to give in, convinced that marrying him was the ultimate goal of my life. My eyes welled up with tears. I never had any intention of marrying you in the first place. Seeing me cry, Lu Jingchuan panicked a little. He was about to speak when Ju Yi, standing behind him, started crying instead. I'll give it back, Sister Shui. I'll just give it back to you. Please don't fight with Brother Jingchuan because of me. Ju Yi wept as she frantically tore at her wedding dress. The once beautiful gown was ripped in two under her violent tugging and thrown to the rain-soaked, muddy ground. My heart wrenched. I rushed over and clutched the torn dress tightly to my chest. Lu Jingchuan, his face etched with pity, gathered Ju Yi into his arms. Then, he raised his hand and slapped me hard across the face. Fury smoldered in his eyes as he pointed an accusing finger at me. It's just a stupid dress. Did you have to make such a scene? What's the big deal about letting her keep it as a gift? Did you really have to force her to strip it off in front of everyone? I've told you 1,000 times, E is just a child. Don't take things so personally with her. But you just wouldn't listen. Staring at the utterly ruined wedding dress on the floor, my heart felt like it was shattering. A ringing filled my ears, drowning out even Lu Jingchuan's words. It was as if a gaping hole had been torn open in my heart. A cold wind howled through it, spreading a deep chill to every part of my body. Seeing me utterly devastated, Lu Jingchuan swallowed his anger and moved to pull me up. But Ju Yi suddenly stumbled and fell to the floor with a thud. Without a moment's hesitation, Lu Jingchuan scooped her up into his arms and strode away without looking back. I sent the wedding dress out for cleaning, and only breathed a sigh of relief after contacting the master tailor to confirm it could be repaired. After a busy day, I opened my phone to find several messages from Lu Jingchuan. I'll arrange a new wedding dress for you, but to make it up to Yi, her bridesmaid dress has to be more stunning than yours on the wedding day, and she gets to wear the veil too. As for you, you must bow and apologize to Yi in front of all the guests, otherwise I won't exchange rings with you. I acknowledged him with a sound, offering no explanation. After all, he'd find out the truth for himself when he saw the bride on the wedding day. That night, I boarded a flight to Haicheng. It was a place I had once been deeply attached to, yet leaving it now felt surprisingly liberating. On the morning of the wedding, Lu Jingchuan nearly blew up my phone with calls, but none of them went through. He found Aunt Lu and said anxiously, "Mom, I can't get in touch with Shui. How can the wedding start if she doesn't show up?" Aunt Lu looked at him, somewhat shocked. "Shui left yesterday. Today's wedding is for you and Jui. Didn't you know? My wedding with Jui. How could I not know about this?" Only then did Lu Jingchuan notice that the large screen at the wedding venue was displaying photos of him and Jui. Aunt Lu patiently explained, "This was all Shui's idea. She said she knew you liked Jui, so she arranged this surprise especially for you." Lu Jingchuan's eyes reddened at the corners as he couldn't hold back a low roar. "How could you not tell me about something this important?" Aunt Lu was baffled. She shot a glare at Lu Jingchuan. "Well, I heard you two already got your marriage certificate. And today she's dressed up like a bride anyway. What difference would telling you have made?" Only then did the belated realization dawn on Lu Jingchuan. All those times I'd said I wouldn't marry him these past few days, I'd actually meant it. He tore the red flower from his chest and was about to come find me, only to be stopped at the door by Jui, who was exquisitely dressed in a high-end wedding gown. "Brother Jingchuan, where are you going?" Seeing Jui dressed like this, Lu Jingchuan was displeased. "Today's bride is Shui, not you. Who gave you permission to dress like this?" Jui stared at him in disbelief, tears welling up in her eyes. "Wasn't it you who told me to wear a wedding dress as the bridesmaid? You said it would be like having a wedding ceremony with me." Lu Jingchuan was left speechless. He could only push her aside, intent on coming to find me, yet he was caught by Aunt Lu. "The wedding is about to start. Where do you think you're going at a time like this?" Lu Jingchuan pressed his lips together, his gaze resolute. "I'm going to find Shui. She is my bride. I'm going to bring her back." Jui stamped her foot in frustration. Sobbing, she threw herself forward and wrapped her arms around Lu Jingchuan's waist. "So she left. Let her be gone. Let me be your bride. Jingchuan, I'm carrying your child. You wouldn't make him a nameless, illegitimate child, would you? You always said you couldn't marry me because you owed Song Shui's parents a debt of gratitude. And she was still useful to you, but now she's left of her own accord. Why are you still refusing to marry me? What? You're pregnant? Aunt Lu's pupils contracted in shock, her hand trembled as she grabbed Jui, her gaze dropping to the younger woman's abdomen. Jui nodded. Mom, I'm carrying Jingchuan's child. I'm almost 4 months along. Furious, Aunt Lu slapped Lu Jingchuan across the face. You beast, the child is 4 months old. How could you do this to Shui? No wonder she was determined to leave you. Lu Jingchuan's eyes reddened, his clenched hand trembling slightly. He couldn't bear to think. Had Shui already found out about Jui's child? How was that possible? He'd kept it so well hidden. Mom, it's not what you think. There's nothing between me and Jui. As for the child, it happened 4 months ago at a cocktail party. I had too much to drink, and that's why. Hearing this, Jui broke down and threw herself at him, pounding his chest with her fists. What do you mean? Are you saying you don't love me? But last night you promised me. You said you'd hand over your salary every month and make time every week to be with me and the baby. How can you say you don't love me? Lu Jingchuan pulled her hands away and explained, I only did those things to make it up to you. In my eyes. You're just a kid, how could I possibly have feelings for you? With that, Lu Jingchuan turned and left. As he descended the stairs, Jui chased after him and threw herself onto his back. I'm going to marry you today, even if I die. You can't leave me. Clinging together, they tumbled down the stairs. Jui clutched her lower abdomen as a warm flow trickled down between her thighs. My stomach, my baby. As Lu Jingchuan fell from the stairs, his head struck a vase with a heavy thud. Blood stained his face, and he lost consciousness. What should have been a perfect wedding turned into a complete mess. I have no idea what happened at the wedding. After landing in Haicheng, I immediately joined my mentor's research institute to begin work on new drug development. Armed with the knowledge and memories from my past life, I managed to cut the research timeline down from 3 years to just 1. The day the project succeeded, the entire lab erupted in cheers and celebration. My senior labmate handed me the coffee he'd bought. Congratulations, Shui. This was your brainchild. After all, don't forget to prepare your speech for the presentation conference. I nodded with a smile and said, no need to prepare, my mind is my speech. To celebrate, our senior labmate treated everyone to dinner at a restaurant that evening. After a few drinks, everyone started gossiping about the latest news. My senior colleague told me that a research institute was developing a drug that was a direct competitor to ours, with very similar effects. However, they were struggling with insufficient startup funding, so their road progress was relatively slow. My heart sank, almost instantly. Lu Jingchuan's face flashed into my mind. In my past life, this drug was Lu Jingchuan's signature product. It was the key to him making a name for himself and becoming worth hundreds of millions. But I distinctly remember he didn't discover this until a year from now. How could the research have started so early? Could it be that he, like me, has regained memories of a past life? Seeing me spaced out, my senior waved a hand in front of my eyes. Shui, what are you thinking about? I snapped back to reality. Oh, nothing. By the way, is the drug researcher at that institute surnamed Lu? My senior chuckled a few times and teased. Yeah, how did you know? I think his name is Lu Jingchuan. I've heard he's very handsome and well off, but he's still single. No matter who tries to set him up, he always refuses, saying he's waiting for someone. Shui, since you know him, do you have any idea who he's waiting for? My hand, holding the chopsticks, froze mid-air. Lu Jingchuan is single. Didn't he marry Jui? I don't know why, but a vague, unsettling suspicion began to form in my heart. Could it be that the person Lu Jingchuan said he was waiting for is me? But the thought was gone as quickly as it came. How could that be? By the timeline, their child would be over a year old by now, given how much Lu Jingchuan adores them. He's definitely trying to protect their privacy. That's why he publicly claims to be single. Noticing my senior's eager gaze, I flusteredly waved my hands. I've only heard about it. I'm not close to him. Besides, who knows if he's really waiting for someone? What if he's, not capable in that department? That one line made everyone at the table burst out laughing, and the unease in my heart gradually faded away. Even if, for argument's sake, the person he's waiting for is me. So what? I, Song Shui, will never look back. On the day of the pharmaceutical launch, I stood on stage representing our team. I explained the efficacy of our product in the most concise terms, earning a round of applause from the entire audience. Just as the press conference ended and I was about to leave the venue, a group of journalists swarmed me, cameras and microphones thrust in my face. MS, Song, it's been said that this drug of yours plagiarizes someone else's work. What do you have to say about that? MS, Song. Is it true that you obtained the research methodology for this drug by sleeping with a researcher from a rival institute? Miss Song, it's been said that you knowingly had an affair with a married man and broke up a family. What is your response to these allegations? The hostility in the room was palpable. I was completely caught off guard by the question, and before I could even process it, a woman lunged at me. Song Shui, it's all your fault. You killed my child. How dare you show your face at this press conference? I'll kill you, the woman shrieked, clawing at my face and hair. I struggled desperately, pushing her away, and only then did I get a clear look at her. Jui, what are you doing here? Jui got up from the floor, faced the reporters, and pointed an accusing finger at me. It's her, Song Shui. This so-called renowned pharmaceutical researcher seduced my husband and stole his research, passing it off as her own work to publish. And that's not all. A year ago, knowing full well he was married, she wrecked my home, pushed me down the stairs, and caused me to lose my baby. How can someone with such rotten character and no morals possibly have the right to stand here at this press conference? As she spoke, Jui produced photos of her marriage certificate with Lu Jingchuan, along with her prenatal checkup and miscarriage reports, showing them to the journalists. Chaos erupted instantly, and the reporters swarmed over again, clamoring for my response. Just as I gathered my wits to answer, a pair of strong hands suddenly pulled me out of the crowd and drew me behind him. Jui, what are you doing out here? Hearing the familiar voice, I jerked my head up. It was Lu Jingchuan. Seeing Lu Jingchuan shielding me, Jui immediately lunged forward like a madwoman. You're still protecting this bitch even now. I'll kill you both, you shameless, cheating scum. Lu Jingchuan held me tightly in his arms, letting Jui's sharp nails rake across his face. But this scene only made it look like there really was something between us. I pushed him away forcefully, then slapped Jui across the face. Miss, every camera here has recorded your slander and physical assault against me today. I will be filing a lawsuit against you. Regarding the questions you journalists just asked, I'll give you all an answer in a moment. With that, I turned and left without looking back. In a corner of the hallway, Lu Jingchuan caught up and grabbed my wrist. Shui, it's really you. You've actually come back. A glimmer of tears shone in Lu Jingchuan's eyes, his hands trembled uncontrollably, and his voice was thick with unrestrained joy. I frowned and shook off his hand. What business do I have with you, Mr. Lu? Please keep your hands to yourself. A flicker of hurt crossed Lu Jingchuan's face. A few tears fell as he sighed. Shui, you're still angry with me, aren't you? A year ago, I heard a genius researcher had come to Haicheng. And I suspected it was you. But they hid you away so well. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find a trace of you. It wasn't until today, seeing you on that stage, that I knew for sure you had really come back. I don't understand. In this lifetime, I already stepped aside for him and Jui. Why is he still asking about me and refusing to let me go? As if reading the confusion in my eyes, Lu Jingchuan hurriedly explained, I didn't marry Jui. I divorced her the very next day. As soon as I found out you had left, I went to look for you, but that lunatic Jui threw herself at me. We both tumbled down the stairs, she lost the baby, and I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. After losing the child, Jui went completely mad. She has no family, so I had her committed to a psychiatric hospital. I have no idea how she managed to escape today. Shui, you have to believe me, in the past, all I felt for her was guilt and pity. I only ever saw her as a child. That's why I paid her extra attention. The only person I love is you, a child. I couldn't help but retort. Lu Jingchuan, this child you speak of is only 2 years younger than me. How can you even say something like that with a straight face? Lu Jingchuan choked on his words, his expression turning sour as he looked away. After breaking free from his grip, I tried to leave again, but he caught me once more. Shui, I know you've been reborn too, haven't you, that day? I fell down the stairs and hit my head. When I woke up in the hospital, I was flooded with memories from my past life. I know you're angry with me for leaving my estate to Jui after I died, but you don't understand. It was only out of guilt. I lost control after drinking and got Jui pregnant. But my heart always belonged to you, so I couldn't give her a proper place in my life. I've carried that guilt for all these years. Which is why I left everything to her and our son after my death. For 18 years, I failed in my duties as a father and a husband. I wasn't there for them. That's why I left them the money. And you, Shui, you've always been frugal. I thought you didn't care about money. I let out a bitter laugh. How absurd. Look at how neatly he's absolved himself. In our past life, he gave me love and companionship, while he gave Jui the money. And the reason for that, apparently, was that I didn't care about money. Looking into Lu Jingchuan's eyes, filled with what he thought was deep affection, I felt nothing but utter disgust. I couldn't hold back any longer and slapped him across the face. Consider that slap payback. Lu Jingchuan, search your conscience. How much of what you're saying is actually true? Why do you think my expenses are so low? It's because I saved every penny and poured it all into your company. And as for you, don't you dare stand there and claim you shirked your responsibilities. If I remember correctly, even though you hid that woman and your child abroad, you still made time to visit them for a few days every single month. Heck, the day your plane crashed, you were on your way to see them. I'm the only one who got nothing. No love. No money. All I have left is a body wrecked from being used by you without end. Lu Jingchuan, do you know how I died in my last life? Lu Jingchuan shook his head, covering his face in shame as tears streamed through his fingers. I let out a sigh and said calmly, I died of cancer because you used me as a test subject for your drugs. I ended up penniless, dying on the street without treatment. Are you satisfied with that ending? No, it wasn't like that. I'm sorry, Shui. I'm so sorry, I thought. Lu Jingchuan looked as if he had suffered a devastating blow. He staggered backward uncontrollably for a few steps before collapsing to the ground. I know I've done too many things to wrong you. That's why you're leaving me in this lifetime. Shui, what must I do for you to come back to me? I'll do anything, anything at all, if only you'll forgive me. I had never seen Lu Jingchuan appear so abject and vulnerable before me. In my memory, he was always aloof, cold, and perpetually indifferent toward me. What stands between him and me isn't just a year, it's 18 long years. It's the weariness and tears of my every single day. The helplessness and desolation of my final, wretched death on the streets. I pressed my lips together and spoke each word deliberately. Lu Jingchuan, there's too much between us. In my past life, I chose you, and look where that got me in the end. Heaven gave me this second chance not to repeat the same mistakes, but to finally live as my own person. In this life, I am not your wife. I am simply myself. I am Song Shui, a researcher developing new pharmaceuticals. As for you, stop pestering me. Out of respect for Aunt Lu and Uncle Lu, I don't want to make a scene. I turned and left. He didn't chase after me, but remained kneeling on the spot, weeping uncontrollably. After returning to the research institute, I compiled our entire road process and, along with a series of evidence, published it online. This was to prove that the research results were our institute's own work and to clear my name, as well as Lu Jingchuan's, of any wrongdoing. I've managed to sum up the whole tangled mess of love and resentment between the three of us in just a couple of sentences. Netizens have been surprisingly level-headed, overwhelmingly siding with me. What I didn't expect was Aunt Lu's support. She reposted my Weibo, calling me her goddaughter and insisting there was nothing between me and Lu Jingchuan. However, some people remain unconvinced, because just moments ago, someone posted footage from this morning showing Lu Jingchuan on his knees, crying and begging me to stay. The post went viral the moment it was published. Even though you couldn't make out what we were saying, it was clear a dramatic saga of love and hate was playing out between us. An insider spilled the tea on a scandal from a year ago, like how Lu Jingchuan got a marriage certificate with Jui on a dare during Truth or Dare, and later stole the wedding dress my mom had prepared for me. Lu Jingchuan's reputation took a nosedive, with everyone slamming him as a total scumbag, but plenty of people are willing to overlook it because of his looks. They're hyping this up as a classic chasing your ex to the grave trope, rooting for Lu Jingchuan to step up his game and win me back. Hoping this rollercoaster romance can be pieced back together. I really can't wrap my head around the wild theories online. This ending is clearly the right one. The best decision I ever made in my life was leaving Lu Jingchuan. This is no chasing your ex-wife into a crematorium trope. I am the main character of my own story. I sued Jui for defamation. However, because she had a psychiatric diagnosis, she didn't go to prison. Instead, she was committed to a psychiatric hospital with stricter controls. After everything was settled, I went to visit Aunt Lu and Uncle Lu. I also visited my parents' gravesite and told them about everything I'd been through over the past year. As for Lu Jingchuan, he just stood there in the distance, watching me quietly. Beside my parents' grave, there's a peach blossom tree. It was my mother's favorite, and she planted it with her own hands back when Lu Jingchuan and I first got together. But in my past life, not long after we got married, that peach tree slowly began to wither away. And now, its fragrance carries for miles, its branches lush and full. I plucked a peach blossom and pressed it between the pages of my book. With a glance at the figure following far behind, I walked away with resolute steps. I would never look back. Story 2. Hey, buy me a lottery ticket when you go out to buy groceries later. The numbers are the same as last time. I held the lottery ticket of the previous issue, and my hand unconsciously loosened, and the old lottery ticket in my hand gently slipped to the ground. My husband Feng Shahang looked at me with disdain. TSK, you really can't do any small things now. You can't even hold a lottery ticket steadily. My father-in-law rubbed his toes on the side, pulling the corner of his mouth and smiling contemptuously. People are getting stupider and stupider when they enjoy themselves at home all day long. I looked at the old lottery ticket on the ground in a trance, and the numbers on it were blurred. Just like when my vision was blurred when I was seriously ill. I shook my head vigorously, and quickly bent down to pick up the lottery ticket under their endless verbal attacks. I held the lottery number that could change my destiny hard, and left the suffocating home without looking back. I walked quickly to the gate of the community, panting and bending down to rest for a while. I raised my hand to look at my rough but powerful hands, and pinched my round face. If I hadn't experienced the last life of being bedridden and tortured by illness to the point of being unrecognizable, I couldn't believe that I was reborn at this moment. Without hesitation, I took a taxi with this winning lottery ticket in my hand and went straight to a remote lottery shop in this city. I want to buy this set of numbers. How much can I buy at most? I wrote down the numbers engraved in my memory on a piece of paper. This was the combination that Feng Shahang usually bought, with the two numbers in the back area changed to the first prize combination. In his last life, he won the second prize, with a prize of 700,000 yuan. He immediately bought a new car, satisfying the wishes of the whole family, except for me. Until I became ill from overwork and my life was hanging by a thread, they were still unwilling to take out money to save me, and watched me die of illness. In this life, I will not only let you taste the taste of a beautiful dream being shattered, but also stay away from the unlucky family and let you fend for yourself. The maximum amount you can buy for a single ticket is 6,000 yuan. Are you sure you want to buy so much? I thought for a moment. If I won the highest prize in the world based on my memory, it would definitely attract the attention of others. It's better to keep a low profile. No. I'm just asking out of curiosity. I'll just buy 3 tickets. According to the current prize pool, the first prize for buying 3 tickets is already 15 million. I quickly bought the lottery ticket. I held the lottery ticket that could change my destiny, and then I began to think about how to keep it properly. I married far away and have never worked. I can say that I don't have many friends here. Feng Shahang's family took advantage of this weakness of mine and used me and belittled me unscrupulously. I initially understood the process and location of claiming the prize, and decided to rent a fully decorated apartment near the prize claiming place. I made an appointment with the agent to take a look at the security and environment of the community, and soon gave 3 months of rent and deposit. Sitting in the apartment, I felt that I had a place of my own in this city. I have always been frugal, so I decided to choose this room the first time I saw the river view. It was rare for the agent to meet a tenant as straightforward as me. After collecting the rent, he gave me the key directly. For safety, I chose to change the door lock at my own expense, and replaced it with a password lock with good anti-theft performance. After handling all this, I locked the lottery ticket in the apartment with confidence and took a taxi back to the original market to buy vegetables. In order to reassure Feng Shihang, I bought a machine-selected lottery ticket at the lottery shop at the entrance of the market. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Feng Shihang lying on the sofa and watching videos with a smile. I waved 2 lottery tickets in front of him. "Honey, I bought the lottery ticket. Where do I put it?" Feng Shihang was interrupted by me and said impatiently, "I usually put it in my coat pocket. Why do you still ask? It took you so long to buy vegetables. Did you take the opportunity to go out and be lazy?" I deliberately made a noise and put the lottery ticket into my clothes. Then I said coldly, "Am I the nanny of this family? Have you paid me?" Feng Shihang was directly contradicted by me for the first time. His face was stunned. "What do you mean? I am not an employee. Why should I be lazy?" He paused and didn't know how to respond for a while. When my mother-in-law heard this, she pointed at me with a mean face and scolded me. "There are so many things to do at home, and you ran out for most of the day without saying a word. If you are not lazy, what is it?" I put the dishes in the kitchen, came out and glanced at her and replied, "No one in the family will move, right? All these things are waiting for me to do." My mother-in-law was furious, and her voice unconsciously raised. She yelled at me, "We spent so much money to marry you back, not for you to show off. You don't work and expect my son to support you, so you just take care of the housework honestly. I tell you, if you can live, live. If you can't, divorce." My son can still marry a young girl after the divorce. I didn't care and sneered, "Don't talk about your son. Your husband can also marry a young girl after the divorce." My mother-in-law was so angry that she patted her chest, raised her hand and pointed at me, trembling. You non-stop." Feng Shihang interrupted the argument between me and my mother-in-law. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and cook, I'm hungry." I stopped arguing with my mother-in-law and turned to walk into the kitchen. He snorted disdainfully and continued to watch videos on his phone. My son Feng Junyang came home from school, put down his school bag and took off his coat and threw them in my direction. This time I was so indifferent that I didn't reach out to catch them. The school bag and coat were just thrown at my feet. He muttered unhappily, "Pick them up quickly. You can't even do such a small thing." I looked at the ground indifferently. Seeing that I didn't move, he yelled at me, "Pick it up for me." I kicked the school bag out of the kitchen without even looking at him. He was so angry that he yelled at me, "Are you crazy, woman?" I responded coldly, "I'm your mother, not this woman. You stupid woman who knows nothing. If my father didn't want you, you would have been sweeping the streets long ago." I ignored his crazy talk and took a few deep breaths to adjust my mood. Today, in order to celebrate my rebirth, I bought all the dishes I like to eat, so I can't waste such good ingredients. Looking at the spicy and fresh food on the table, I picked up the chopsticks with satisfaction and prepared to eat heartily. Feng Junyang was the first to express dissatisfaction and slapped the chopsticks on the ground. "Why is there nothing I like? I won't eat it." Mother-in-law fiddled with the dishes in front of her with disdain, found a piece of pork belly in a pile of peppers, and spit it out as soon as she put it in her mouth. "Ahem. Didn't I tell you that we can't eat spicy food, but you still made it so spicy? Are you deliberately against us?" I ignored it and picked up the spicy shrimp in front of me and took a bite. The shrimp shell was crispy and the shrimp meat was slightly spicy and spicy. This long-lost flavor made me ignore my mother-in-law's picky face. "Shu Xiang, can't you hear my mother talking to you? How can we eat these dishes?" After swallowing a shrimp, I pretended to be stupid and replied, "Such delicious dishes. How can we not eat them? You are the only one in the family who eats spicy food. Who will eat these spicy dishes? You also know that I like spicy food, so of course I will eat it. Aren't these dishes not spicy?" Feng Shihang pushed the green vegetables in front of him with disdain. "It's so plain, even dogs won't eat it." I sneered and replied, "Well, then it's reasonable for you not to eat it." My father-in-law glared at me, threw away his chopsticks, stood up, picked up his coat and opened the door to go out. Seeing this, Feng Junyang quickly stood up and followed. "Grandpa, wait for me." Feng Shihang and mother-in-law also stood up and left the table. Before leaving, they said viciously, This meal cannot be counted in the food expenses. I will deduct it from you next month." I tilted my head and raised my eyebrows, not taking his threat seriously at all. I happily enjoyed the first delicious meal after rebirth. After eating, I cleaned up the kitchen and went back to the bedroom without waiting for them to come back. I picked up the tablet and started to check the recent hotspots, and made plans for the development of my future life. When Feng Shihang and his family came back and saw the dark living room and quiet home, they thought I was asleep, so my mother-in-law started to complain about me unscrupulously. "Son, your wife is getting more and more arrogant. She eats and wears our clothes, but she doesn't behave herself and is getting more and more arrogant," my father-in-law echoed. "If you don't teach her a lesson now, she will soon step on your head." Feng Shihang thought for a moment and said viciously, "When I get rich one day, I will kick her out of the house first." I sat in the bedroom and sneered. It's not certain who will kick whom out of the house. In my previous life, I didn't understand the law and didn't know that I had the right to dispose of the common property of the couple. If he didn't give me money to treat my illness, I would be helpless. After understanding it thoroughly in this life, I must find a way to keep him away from it. Put down the tablet and look forward to the lottery tomorrow. Feng Shihang is an old lottery player. The time of the lottery has been engraved in his mind. As soon as it was announced, he opened his mobile phone to check. "Oh, I won." After he exclaimed, my parents-in-law came out of the bedroom and asked curiously, "Son, you are so happy. Did you win a lot?" Feng Shihang glanced at me, stood up and pulled my parents-in-law into the bedroom quietly. I immediately followed them on tiptoe and stood by the door to eavesdrop. "I won 700,000, mother-in-law exclaimed. 70. Father-in-law immediately stopped her. "Sure, keep your voice down. Son, take the prize first, and put it in your pocket." "Okay, I'll go right away." Hearing this, I quickly flashed back to our bedroom, and Feng Shihang came in right behind him, took his coat and left without saying a word. However, Feng Shihang came back angrily not long after he left. "The lottery ticket you gave me is an old one. Where is the new one?" he yelled at me. I looked innocent. "How could it be an old one? You clearly saw me put both the new and old lottery tickets into my pocket." Feng Shihang grabbed my collar and said, "Don't try to fool me. I went to the lottery shop and they said the lottery ticket I gave you was old and expired." I was shocked, but I remained calm on the surface. "Feng Shihang, calm down. I am sure that the lottery ticket I gave you was newly bought. Did you accidentally lose it when you went out?" Feng Shihang's eyes widened. "I checked my pocket when I went out, and the lottery ticket was clearly in it. You must have tampered with it." I insisted. "I didn't touch your lottery ticket. You were too excited and didn't find it clearly. Otherwise, you can look for it carefully again." Feng Shihang began to search his coat pocket angrily, but he couldn't find the newly bought lottery ticket after searching for a long time. He got even angrier. "Look, I've searched all my pockets, but there's no lottery ticket." I pretended to be unaware of the situation and asked, "How much did you win? Why are you so nervous?" He yelled at me. "I won the second prize. 700,000. I was shocked and wide-eyed, and shouted in panic, "Oh my God, why are you still standing there? Hurry up and look for it." Under my deception, the whole family searched the house like crazy, but the lottery ticket with the machine-selected numbers had been taken away when I pretended to put it in my pocket and took my hand out, and it was already in the saw. No matter how hard they searched, they couldn't find it, and I insisted that I had bought it for him. So he had no evidence and couldn't do anything to me, seeing that we had almost finished searching. Everyone was very irritable, so I took the initiative to say, "It seems to have been thrown outside. I'll go out and look for it." Looking at the messy house, I didn't want to clean it up alone later. I went out and had a comfortable meal. I found a printing shop to print out the things I needed, put them in envelopes and went home slowly. The house was quiet. It seemed that they were hungry after looking for the lottery tickets, so they went out to eat. This was really God's help. I hurried back to the bedroom to put the envelope away and pack up my personal belongings. They returned home just after they were done. Seeing their depressed faces, they must have gone out to look for a round. Feng Shihang saw me coming out of the bedroom, and suddenly got angry. He rushed over and pointed at me and yelled, "Did you know that the lottery ticket won the prize? So you took it away secretly while my parents and I went in." I was not to be outdone, and yelled at him, Didn't I help find it too? If you still don't believe it, call the police to arrest me. I gave you the lottery ticket last night. How many places have you been to so far? You don't even know where you lost it. You just know how to get angry at me. What kind of man are you? Feng Shihang was choked by my words and was speechless for a while. He obviously didn't expect me to refute so strongly. You, he pointed at my hand and trembled, so angry that he couldn't speak. I sneered. But I was thinking about the next plan in my heart. Seeing him panting, I suppressed my anger and comforted him. Husband, calm down. Let's think about it first. Where else the lottery ticket could be? I tried to stay calm and tried to calm his anger. Don't try to change the subject. The house has been turned upside down and still can't find it. I ask you, where is the lottery ticket? He was furious and obviously didn't want to hear any explanation. I really don't know. Think about it carefully. Who else have you talked about your lottery ticket with besides our family? I tried to calm him down and divert his attention from me. He thought for a moment, picked up his coat and rushed out of the house. He said he asked his brothers to drink last night. And it is likely that he took the last opportunity to go out to find his brothers. Out of sight, out of mind. I am happy to be free if I can't see Feng Shihang. My mother-in-law wouldn't let me off so easily. Xiang. What are you doing? Hurry up and clean up the house. Look how messy it is. I responded obediently and started to clean up quickly. After moving 2 drawers, I stood up suddenly, staggered a few steps, and fell towards my mother-in-law who was supervising on the side. Hey, what's wrong with you? I pretended to be unconscious and pressed my whole body on my mother-in-law, and we both fell to the ground. Seeing this, my father-in-law dropped the things in his hands and came to support my mother-in-law, and even my son called Grandma. The mother-in-law who was overwhelmed kicked me twice angrily. This useless thing, you fainted after cleaning so few things. My father-in-law helped my mother-in-law up and sat her on the sofa, and Feng Junyang asked about her mother-in-law's condition diligently. I just lay on the ground and no one cared about me. A few people scolded me for a long time, and found that I was really unconscious, so they became worried. Old lady, do you think we should call an ambulance to take her to the hospital since she's lying on the ground like this? It's free to call an ambulance. Apply some peppermint oil to her and she'll wake up in a while. Yang, you go. My son is really my own. He put peppermint oil on my eyes with his fingers, and I was so stingy that tears came out of my eyes. I couldn't pretend any longer. So I coughed weakly twice and woke up slowly. Did I faint again? Feng Junyang turned to her mother-in-law with excitement and said, Grandma, I woke her up. After hearing this, her mother-in-law stood up and looked at me, and asked hypocritically, Xiang, what's wrong with you? I raised my hand and pressed my temple with my fingers, pretending to be stupid and said, Mom, I'm fine. I've been feeling dizzy lately. I'll be fine after a good night's sleep. Hearing that I was fine, her mother-in-law put away her fake concern and said, That's good. Go and rest first, and we'll clean up tomorrow. I can delay it for one day. Maybe I won't be in this house tomorrow. I nodded weakly, supported myself with my hands and slowly stood up, holding onto the wall and returning to my bedroom step by step. Feng Shihang did not return home for another night. I got up as usual to make breakfast for the whole family, and just as I finished, I saw him enter the room reeking of alcohol. When he saw me, he immediately showed a look of disgust, and he was too lazy to speak, and went straight back to the bedroom to change clothes. My parents-in-law and Feng Junyang came out for breakfast on time. Feng Shihang came out after changing his clothes. His face was ashen, and he looked at me meaningfully. I served him a bowl of porridge as if nothing had happened, and carefully observed his expression, and I could clearly feel his disgust and disgust for me. He suddenly got angry and flipped the bowl, yelling at me, It's all your fault. You made me lose the lottery ticket, and the 700,000 yuan I got just flew away in vain. I said aggrievedly, You know how to vent your anger on me when you lose the lottery ticket. I am your wife, not your maid. You are unlucky and you are not worthy of being my wife. I want to divorce you. As soon as these words came out, the remaining 3 people instantly stunned. My mother-in-law was the first to react and advised Feng Shihang, Son, have you thought it through? I knew what she meant. It would be hard to find another daughter-in-law as easy to handle and capable as me. I expected that she would prevent us from getting divorced, so I prepared the second step of the plan. Feng Shihang said solemnly, Mom, I've thought it through. This jinx will only drag us down if she stays in our family. I squinted my eyes hard, squeezed out tears, and choked. Feng Shahang, you want to divorce me just because of that lottery ticket that no one knows who lost it? We've been married for 10 years. I continued to choke and said in a trembling voice, are you really so cruel that you want to abandon me for a lottery ticket that may never be found? My father-in-law also joined the persuasion at this time. He said in a deep voice, Shahang, marriage is not a joke. You two have been through so many ups and downs for so many years. You can't make a decision because of a momentary impulse. Feng Shahang seemed to have made up his mind. He responded coldly, Dad, I know what I am doing. She must not stay in this family anymore. I sneered in my heart. He really saw the fake medical examination report of serious illness that I put in the bedroom. I pretended to be desperate and said, Okay, since you are so determined, I will not force it. Divorce is fine. But I want my child. Feng Shahang was stunned for a moment. Obviously he did not expect me to make such a request. He was silent for a moment, and just as he was about to speak, Feng Junyang took the lead. No, I want to follow my father. I gave birth to him for 9 years, but I didn't expect to get such a sentence in return. But it's good this way, now that I have seen the true face of the ungrateful wolf. I can resolutely break off everything in the past. My mother-in-law also joined the ranks of refusing. Yang is the eldest son and grandson of our Feng family. Why do you take him away? How can a woman who knows nothing support my precious grandson? Feng Shahang did not allow me to explain and directly ordered me to leave. In short, I am going to divorce. Bring me the marriage certificate now, and we will go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. I insisted on staying in the restaurant. And Feng Shahang went straight into the house and threw out the things given to me. My mother-in-law couldn't help but go in to persuade me, but after a while, she also took out my luggage with a gloomy face and threw it on the ground. Hurry up and go through the formalities. Don't ruin our family's good feng shui here. It's unlucky. I squatted down and picked up my luggage with grievance and walked out without saying a word. On the way, Feng Shahang and I walked to the processing window of the Civil Affairs Bureau in silence. The staff asked us the reason for the divorce, and Feng Shahang answered first, we are incompatible and can't continue to live together. I nodded calmly, and the staff continued to ask, has the child's custody and property division been negotiated? This was like Feng Shahang's reverse scale, and he was furious. What property is there to talk about? I bought the house and car. She has been eating and wearing my clothes for so many years, and she has never earned a penny for the family. Why should she share my property? The people who were handling business around him couldn't help but look at us when they heard his arrogant and ruthless remarks. A newlywed couple who had just obtained their marriage certificate frowned at us, and the woman said with contempt, if you dare to do this to me in the future, I will never let you go. The man said with a strong desire to survive, I don't even bother to do such a scumbag's behavior. The staff looked at me helplessly, and I said to her with anger, it has been negotiated, the child belongs to him, and I don't want the property anymore. The staff looked at me sympathetically, nodded, and began to handle the procedures for us. Come together to get the divorce certificate after the 30-day cooling-off period. I stood up and looked at Feng Shahang deeply. Feng Shahang looked at me with disgust, then turned and left. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief when I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. The second step of the plan was finally successful. As long as I survive the 30-day cooling-off period, I will have nothing to do with this family. I took a taxi directly to the apartment with my luggage. After putting down my luggage, I didn't want to do anything. I lay on the sofa and stared at the river view outside. I have to keep a low profile for these 30 days, and not let Feng Shahang find any abnormality, otherwise all efforts will fail. Every day when I open my eyes, I don't have to do anything. I can order takeout if I want to eat, and do some exercise when I have enough rest. Except for finding excuses to deal with my parents' calls, everything else is fine. I haven't lived such a comfortable life for more than 10 years, without worries, without pressure, and life is simply too comfortable. Maybe happy time passes very quickly, and 30 days are gone in the blink of an eye. I changed into simple clothes and appeared in the Civil Affairs Bureau without makeup. Feng Shahang's eyes lit up when he saw me. After all, I was not as decadent as he imagined, and my skin and figure were obviously better. I couldn't let him have any regrets, so I went to the processing window first. The staff took a look at us, collected our information, and quickly completed it. Handing us 2 divorce certificates, holding this pass to regain freedom, I almost couldn't suppress the corners of my mouth. Feng Shihang quickly distanced himself from the relationship and said, "Xu Xiang, we have no relationship from now on, we have nothing to do with each other in life, death and sickness." I sneered and replied, "Don't worry, I also hope to have nothing to do with you until we die." Feng Shihang snorted coldly and got into the car without looking back. I returned to the apartment, took out my first prize lottery ticket and ID, changed my clothes and put on a mask, and prepared to go out to receive the prize in disguise. When I saw the balance on the bank card, I really felt reborn, a free rebirth. My mother called worriedly, "Xiang, you are divorced at this age. What can you do?" "Mom, how did you know? Shihang has already posted it on his Moments. How long do you want to keep it from me?" I sat up and opened Feng Shihang's Moments. Wow. I can't wait to receive the prize, and he can't wait to announce his free status. You can go crazy with the right person only after you say goodbye to the wrong one. I burst out laughing and commented below, "I really want to go crazy after staying in your house for a long time." My mother listened to me laughing on the other end of the phone and asked me hurriedly, "My daughter, don't scare your mother." "Mom, I will go back and explain it to you face to face." After hanging up the phone, I bought a first-class ticket for the nearest flight and took a special car directly to my doorstep after getting off the plane. My parents had already prepared my favorite dishes for me. They forced smiles but couldn't hide their worries. The 3 of us haven't seen each other for 2 years. My unstoppable smile and their frowning brows were in sharp contrast. Unable to hide it from them anymore, I directly transferred 1 million to each of them, the moment they saw the amount. Their eyes almost popped out. "My daughter, did Feng Shihang give you so much money when they divorced you?" I couldn't help laughing again. "Mom, do you think it's possible, a person who even thought the air ticket was too expensive for me to go home during the spring festival would give me 2 million? Even if their whole family sold together, they might not have 2 million. I won the lottery, first prize, a lot of money." My parents opened their mouths wide and couldn't speak for a long time. After completely digesting the news, they laughed so hard that they couldn't close their mouths. "Doesn't Feng Shihang know that you won the lottery? What about Yang Yang? Why don't you bring him with you?" I sighed and told him everything about how Feng Shihang's family treated me. My father was so angry that he slapped his thigh and said, "I felt that boy was unreliable at the time, and you insisted on marrying far away." My mother's eyes were red, and she choked slightly and said, "I called you all day and said that everything was going well, but it turned out that you were lying to us." Seeing that the atmosphere was a little wrong, I quickly laughed and said, "Oh, this is not the end of hardship, and it will be a good life in the future, but wealth should not be exposed. So let only the 3 of us know about my winning the lottery." My father nodded solemnly. "This is natural, and you should not be too ostentatious. This money is your support for the rest of your life." I hugged their necks with emotion. Sure enough, only my parents treated me sincerely, but it seemed against human nature to do nothing after winning the lottery, so I took my parents to join a luxury tour group. I spent 2 months playing like a tyrant, traveling all over the country. And I was so ruthless that I couldn't help posting on WeChat Moments. After I came back, I bought a large flat for my parents in my hometown and changed the car. After this round of operations, I spent less than 3 million. I wandered around the house for a month without doing anything. It was not until the landlord contacted me to pay the rent that I realized that I had been extravagant for 3 months. I thought about going back to pack my luggage and return to my hometown. Looking at the people coming and going at the airport for their lives, I suddenly felt that my life was meaningless. After staying in the apartment for 2 days, I seriously thought about my future life plan and finally decided to start my own business. But I have been a housewife for 10 years, and my cognition has long been out of touch with this society. For a while, I didn't know what industry I should be in. Over the years, I have developed a habit of cleaning up the house whenever I can't figure out something. In the past 2 days, the apartment has been cleaned by me. Suddenly, a light bulb flashed. I am most familiar with housekeeping. Maybe I can open a housekeeping company to test the waters first. As a man of action, I immediately started to do market research, and my target customers were middle and high-income groups. As a nanny, I began to apply for jobs at various domestic service companies and high-end communities, collecting the requirements of these employers for nannies and the salary expectations of nannies for employers. After several days of investigation, I had a rough idea in my mind. Today is the last community to visit. This one is a newly promoted high-end community. It is just because of the new commercial buildings and urban expressways in the surrounding area that the housing prices in this community have risen sharply. Wei Wei, I'm your aunt. Are you home? We plan to visit your parents at your home. Walking in the garden of the community, a familiar voice came from behind, but the flattering attitude made me doubt that I had heard it wrong. Okay, we'll wait for you here. I looked back and it was indeed my mean ex-mother-in-law, the moment our eyes met. She returned to her familiar look. Son, look, isn't this Xu Xiang? Feng Shihang looked up at me, and seeing my simple outfit, he frowned and walked over to me. Are you following me? I looked at him with contempt. Are you sick? Feng Shihang's face sank. Hurry up and leave. Don't embarrass me here, mother-in-law echoed. That's right. My son found a partner not long after leaving you, and she's the daughter of a wealthy family, unlike you, who smells poor inside and out. I was about to fight back, but I caught a glimpse of a slightly plump girl behind me, walking towards us with a drooping face. It's hot and sunny today. Why are you here? You made me go downstairs to pick you up. When my ex-mother-in-law heard the voice, she immediately put on a smile and turned around. Wei Wei, this is not because Auntie likes you more and more, and wants Shihang to marry you as soon as possible. So I came to visit your parents today, Wei Wei said unhappily. My parents are very busy, and I can't see them without an appointment. My ex-mother-in-law suppressed her temper and smiled. It's okay, Auntie brought you delicious food, and we will come next time when you make an appointment with your parents. Wei Wei saw me standing still, looking straight at them, and asked curiously, who is this person? Are you together? My ex-mother-in-law quickly distanced herself from the relationship and said, this person has nothing to do with us. We don't know him, I quickly said aggrievedly. Auntie, although Shihang and I are divorced, I am still Yang Yang's mother. You don't have to be so mean. When Wei Wei heard that I was Feng Shihang's ex-wife, she immediately became interested in me. Shihang, is she the selfish ex-wife you mentioned? She doesn't look like that. Feng Shihang explained awkwardly. Wei Wei, you can't judge a person by appearance. She abandoned her husband and children. And now she has retribution and has fallen to be a nanny. Feng Shihang, you slander me like this. Right, Shihang, how can you slander me like this? You knew I was seriously ill, but you still cruelly kicked me out of the house and asked me to leave with nothing. I have been a nanny for your family for so many years. I have no credit, but I have worked hard. Now you are slandering me like this. When I was excited, I covered my face and coughed violently, which made me look even more miserable. Feng Shihang's face was livid, and he didn't dare to get angry at me in front of his new partner. My ex-mother-in-law couldn't help but come forward to help me, but in fact she whispered in my ear to warn me, Xu Xiang, are you looking for death? Don't forget that Yang Yang is also your son. I broke free from my ex-mother-in-law's hand and fell to the ground weakly, looking back at her in disbelief. Auntie, you used to be mean to me at home, and now you push me. I owed your family in my last life, right? At the beginning, I said I wanted to take Yang Yang away, but you refused to let me. Now you want to use Yang Yang to threaten me to shut up. You are so cruel. My ex-mother-in-law looked at me sitting on the ground, and then at the angry Wei Wei, and was at a loss for a while. Feng Shihang came forward and wanted to hold her hand. Wei Wei, listen to my explanation. What she said is not true. She is deliberately trying to destroy us. Wei Wei was so scared that she retracted her hands behind her back and shook her head and said, I will ask someone to clarify your matter. Don't come to me recently. She ran home after saying this. I couldn't help laughing when I saw her running fast. Feng Shihang and his mother glared at me angrily and yelled at me, you are such a jinx. You are dying of illness and you still want to drag us down. Look at your poor appearance. You must have no money to treat your illness and have to work as a nanny. This is your retribution. I stood up leisurely and patted the dust on my body, raised my head and said confidently, what's wrong with being a nanny? A nanny makes money with her own labor and wisdom, clean and upright. You think it's easy to take care of a home, right? Housewives are just enjoying life at home, right? Let me tell you. You have to worry as much as you do at work. Without us taking care of the home, you can't work so hard with peace of mind. I said everything I had held back before. And my mood suddenly became better. Applause suddenly broke out around me, and several women dressed as housewives probably couldn't help but applaud after hearing what I said. Sister, you said it very well. Yes, I hate people who ignore the efforts of housewives. Ask them to do housework and take care of children for a day. That's right. Who dares to marry someone who bullies a patient? Amidst the doubts, Feng Shihang and his mother stubbornly said, "What's your business?" And left in disgrace. I nodded to them gratefully. A girl who looked less than 30 years old approached me and asked kindly, "Sister, are you feeling better? I saw you fall just now." "I'm fine, thank you, sister." After the two sides communicated, I learned that her name was Liu Xiujuan. She had just come to this community to work as a nanny. She chose this profession because she had younger brothers and sisters to support. Although this job was tiring, the income was high. It was a good choice for her with a low level of education. I saw that she was not very old, but she had a lot of work experience, so I couldn't help but add her contact information, thinking of asking her more about this industry. After a few visits, we became familiar with each other. When I told her that I wanted to start a housekeeping company, she immediately expressed her desire to join me. With the help of Liu Xiujuan, my housekeeping company quickly became popular. She simply joined our company and was responsible for recruiting nannies. I also hired a salesperson, Chen Xiao, to be responsible for talking to customers. In this way, I easily became a small boss and bought the rented apartment. I stayed and ran the company with Liu Xiujuan and Chen Xiao. In fact, I don't care how much this company makes. The key is that there is a place to rely on and we can work hard for a goal together, in order to avoid repeating the same mistakes. I tried not to make myself too tired. After the company was on the right track, I took time to exercise and maintain my health. Life was so beautiful and promising. My parents occasionally came to see me and stayed for a while before going back. In the middle, I heard a small episode, and Liu Xiujuan handed me her mobile phone with great interest. It turns out that day, Feng Shihang and his mother, the conflict was filmed and posted online, which resonated with many people. People who stood up for the majority of housewives even dug up information about Feng Shihang and Weiwei. It turned out that Weiwei was not as rich as she said, but her parents had a good eye for investment and bought this house before the house price rose. After learning the truth, Feng Shihang no longer begged for reconciliation with a smug face, and even chased Weiwei to ask her to return the money she spent on their relationship. Weiwei was not a good person either. And she directly complained to his company, saying that he cheated on women's feelings. In addition, Feng Shihang's family's mean ex-wife and the video that looked down on the group of housewives went viral, and she lost her job directly. Seeing their end, my peaceful and happy life has also added a lot of fun. Every day, I was very happy to chase Feng Shihang's melons, but I didn't expect that one day I would eat my own head. "Hello, are you looking for a nanny?" I was sitting at the front desk, concentrating on opening a package. When I heard the inquiry, I answered without looking up. "Yes, fill in the information here." When I took the form and pen to the reception desk next to the front desk, I saw that the person who came to apply for the job was my ex-mother-in-law. Seeing that I was full of energy and ruddy, she looked at me in surprise for several minutes. Her haggard and tired appearance also made me look at her a few more times. "What are you looking at?" "It's all your fault that our family has become like this." I frowned and retorted, "We don't hire nannies with bad attitudes here. Go away." "Hey, you little receptionist dared to chase me away." I was introduced by someone. "Do you know if you have connections?" I crossed my arms and asked calmly. "Whose connections do you have to be so strong?" "Of course it's your boss." I burst out laughing and asked curiously, "Do you know our boss?" "Of course, these things are not your turn to ask about. Hurry up and arrange a job for me." "I can't arrange it. First, you are over the age limit, and second, you are not capable enough and have a bad attitude. We can't afford you." The ex-mother-in-law was relentless and said she would complain about me. Liu Xiujuan came out after hearing the noise. "What happened?" "Call your boss out. I want to complain." Liu Xiujuan looked at me in confusion. I shrugged. She replied, "Our boss is right in front of you." The ex-mother-in-law opened her mouth in surprise and couldn't speak. I pretended to be stupid and asked, "Then do you still want to complain? You are an old woman with no money and no ability. Where did you get the money to start a company? You must be supported by a rich old man, right? The world is really going downhill. Being a mistress can be so righteous. I'm going to report you. Report your company for illegal operation." Listening to her getting more and more outrageous, I pointed to the camera on the ceiling with a gloomy face. "Auntie, our company has surveillance. If you slander me again, I can only report you to the police for defamation." The ex-mother-in-law looked at the camera fearfully, knowing that she would not get any good results if she continued to make trouble. So she had to leave cursing. Looking at her staggering steps, today's impact on her was not small. After a few days of peace, Cece, the front desk girl, suddenly came in with a bouquet of flowers and asked with a gossipy face, "Boss, who loves you?" I took it in surprise, opened the card and took a look, and quickly stuffed the flowers back into her arms. Take it away, don't bring this unlucky thing in." Cece didn't understand and asked curiously, "Boss, do you know who it is?" "My ex-husband, that selfish and disgusting man." I recognized that handwriting at a glance. Could it be that my ex-mother-in-law went back and told him that I was the boss, and he wanted to take advantage of it? Sure enough, he blocked me as soon as I got off work and left the company. Xiang, after losing you, I know who treats me best. You have treated me wholeheartedly over the years, and I am so foolish to divorce you. I am simply not a human being. After saying that, he raised his hand and slapped himself in the face. The sound was crisp and loud, and he was a ruthless person. I nodded and agreed. "Yeah, I also think you are not a human being." He was embarrassed for a few seconds, and continued with a thick face, "I already know I was wrong. Please give me another chance for Yang's sake. Okay, I will definitely treat you well in the future, and listen to you in everything. Let's start over." I lowered my head and couldn't stop laughing, almost laughing to tears. "Ha ha ha, are you thinking that I am about to die? And when I die, my company and my money will belong to you." I immediately changed to a new car, satisfying the wishes of the whole family, except for me. His eyes flickered when I touched his heart. And then his face changed, looking at me affectionately. "Xiang, you really have a big misunderstanding of me. I admit that I neglected you at the beginning. Didn't know you were sick, and divorced you in a moment of impulsiveness. I know I was wrong now. For the sake of so many years of relationship, can you give me a chance to make a new start?" He was about to hold my hand, and I stepped back several steps in fear. "No, if you harass me again, I'll call the police." Chen Xiao came out from get off work and saw this scene. He didn't know what to do. I waved at him and he immediately understood and came to protect me. "What do you want to do?" "Get out of here." Feng Shihang saw the tall Chen Xiao and wanted to argue with him, but when he saw his muscular body, he immediately backed off. When Chen Xiao took a step forward, he took a step back, saying, "Xiang, I will let you see my sincerity. I will not give up so easily. Yang misses you too. I will bring him to see you next time." Looking at his back that finally disappeared, I helplessly supported my forehead and sighed. "It seems that I have to hide for a while. Boss, where do you want to hide?" "I haven't traveled for a long time. I will travel for a year or two and see where it is suitable to open a branch. But before I travel, I have to find a lawyer to make a will, otherwise there will always be hidden dangers. Feng Juanyang's custody is not with me, but he is still eligible to inherit my estate. Instead of leaving the money to an ungrateful person to squander, I might as well make arrangements early." Liu Xiujuan later told me that Feng Shihang came several times but couldn't find me. He left cursing and never appeared again. When his relatives and friends talked about his family, they all shook their heads. Feng Shihang, who couldn't find a job, had to rely on borrowing money to make a living. Feng Juanyang, who was poor in academic performance and got into trouble everywhere, stopped going to school after junior high school and spent all day on the streets. In the end, he got into trouble and had to pay a huge sum of money. Feng Shihang was so angry that he had a stroke and was paralyzed in bed, which was more painful than death. The ex-mother-in-law took odd jobs to take care of the old and sick ex-father-in-law. She didn't dare to stop even when she was sick. The family lived in dire straits. Lying on the sofa in the villa and watching gossip on the phone is really a different experience.